The hazy, hot, and humid weather continues out there, but some relief is in sight just in time for the weekend. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest. Evan?
Well, unfortunately, Steve, it's not the weekend yet for multiple reasons, but the main one being that we have not yet been able to knock down some of those very, very record hot temperatures outside around the mountains. Plenty of sunshine, nothing to cool us down. We continue to be on the hot side. Blue skies continue over Mount Vernon along I-75. That's just helping heat us up even more. London Corbin Airport got a cloud over the sun right now, not hurting us any with the temperatures still sitting at 92. That is a record-tying temperature at London. Same thing at Jackson right now at 92 degrees, but even warmer in some other spots. How about 93, Monticello, Williamsburg, and Jacksboro, 94, Irvine, Manchester, and Middlesboro. So it is another dangerously hot afternoon. Factor in the humidity. It feels like 101 in Middlesboro, 102 in Monticello, and 104 Wayne and Manchester, and taking the cake right now, 107. That feels like in Ashland. Maybe some clouds trying to bubble up across portions of the Kentucky River Valley in the northern part, but not much in the way of anything. Still watching high pressure working on through the region, and that's what's keeping us on the warm side as we head through tonight. Heat safety tips, we always want to stress these. Check up on the elderly, the sick. If somebody doesn't have air conditioning, check up on them. If you have to be outdoors, try not to be outdoors, but if you have to be outdoors, find some shade, light, loose-fitting clothing, take plenty of breaks in the shade, plenty of water as well, stay hydrated, and never, ever, ever leave the pets or the kids in the car, in a hot car, unattended. Look before you lock. We stress that all the time when it's this hot outside. I'll have the latest on how much longer this heat looks to stick around and when we could finally see that relief coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. We continue our coverage of a developing story out of Pike County where there is a heavy police presence. WYMT's Zach Hawk is at the scene now near US 23. And Zach, what can you tell us about what's happened there this afternoon?
Steve, so right now I'm in front of the U-Pike Sportsplex with US 23 and Main Street in the city of Coal Run just behind me. Now, the police presence that you're seeing are primarily Kentucky State Troopers, and they're investigating what they're calling for now a shooting incident along the highway. Now, there is a white vehicle that is left disabled in the middle of the road, which has US 23 totally closed in both directions. So I can't confirm anyone was actually shot at this time, but I can confirm that a suspect involved in a police chase was injured during the pursuit and that there were shots fired. Trooper Michael Coleman from KSP Post 9 tells me that he expects the road to remain closed for several hours, encouraging people to find a different direction if possible. Now, I hope to get more information from Kentucky State Police officials as the evening goes on. I know that they are not able to comment on an ongoing investigation like this until that investigation has completed. For now, I can let you know that all traffic is being routed off of US 23 in both directions here, just near the city of Coal Run, kind of on your way into the city of Pikeville. And the traffic along Main Street here in Coal Run is significant, certainly heading southbound as you try to get into the city. Live in Pikeville, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Zach, thank you very much. Certainly want to try to avoid that area if you can for the rest of the afternoon. We are just now getting some new information into the newsroom about the suspect, and we'll get that on our website as soon as we can. And Zach will hopefully have a lot more information about what happened today coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Well, in the world we live in, active shootings are happening more often. In order to prepare for the worst, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office held an active shooter training today in Thelma. WYMT's Alyssa Williams was there to watch it all unfold.
From law enforcement and educators to administrative staff, dozens gathered at the Carl D. Perkins Vocational Training Center on Wednesday to learn more about how they can help if they end up in one of these situations. The training was facilitated by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, telling trainees about the different types of shootings they could face and acting out scenarios with everyone to show them what they need to do to keep themselves and those around them safe.
You know, it's something that we need to do this in all the schools. We need to do it more often, a whole lot more often. It's very beneficial.
Officials with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office say the three main things to remember if faced with an active shooter are to run, hide, or fight, adding that knowing which choice is best for you could save your life. In Johnson County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Deputy Tim Clark with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office says if you're interested in hosting a training for your workplace, you can contact the Johnson County Sheriff's Office for more information. Gun violence at schools has districts across the country looking into ways to protect students. Students at John H. Walker Middle School in Nutley, New Jersey are learning how to spot a potential school shooter. The goal is to teach kids to spot warning signs, including withdrawing from friends and school, bragging about guns, or suggesting self-harm or threats to others. Often those red flags can be seen on social media. Sandy Hook Promise says in 4 out of 5 school shootings, the attacker told people their plans ahead of time.
This is why it's so important that we talk to students to recognize when someone needs help, bring that to the trusted adult who has the experience and knowledge to get that person the help they need.
Sandy Hook Promise also offers an anonymous reporting system through a mobile app, hotline, and websites. The group offers the Say Something program to middle and high schools across the country at no cost. John Hinckley Jr., the man who attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan in 1981, has been granted unconditional release from court-appointed psychiatric supervision. A jury found Hinckley not guilty by reason of insanity in the shooting, which wounded the president and 3 others. A federal judge granted the release after Hinckley's defense team, prosecutors, and mental health professionals all said they have no concerns regarding his mental state. CBS's Skylar Henry reports.
It's been more than 40 years since President Ronald Reagan was shot and nearly killed as he left a conference at the Washington Hilton. Today, the man who pulled the trigger, John Hinckley Jr., is free from court-ordered psychiatric supervision.
He's no longer mentally ill. He's no longer dangerous.
Hinckley's defense team and federal prosecutors had reached an agreement on the release if certain conditions were met, arguing the now 67-year-old is no longer a risk to others. The D.C. federal judge who signed off earlier this month said the decision didn't come lightly. Hinckley spent more than 2 decades in a mental institution. Following the shooting, he critically wounded President Reagan's press secretary, James Brady, who became partially paralyzed. Brady was a fierce anti-gun violence advocate until his 2014 death, ruled a homicide due to his injuries.
That was a horrific incident of violence that fundamentally, spurred incredible action.
The Reagan Foundation previously issued a statement opposing Hinckley's release and accusing him of using his infamy for profit. For the past few years, Hinckley has been living under federal supervision in Virginia, where he paints and performs music. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Hinckley's defense team says he wishes he could undo his actions, while prosecutors have wished him the best, calling the outcome a testament to the value of proper mental care. Leaders with the Southern Baptist Convention approved 2 reform measures today, hoping to address the way it deals with sexual abuse allegations within its member churches. One of the new measures calls for the creation of a ministry check website, which would maintain a record of pastors, denominational workers, ministry employees, and volunteers who have at any time been credibly accused of sexual abuse. That's according to the Baptist Press, the SBC's news service. Under another measure, an abuse reform implementation task force would be created to examine SBC's response to sexual abuse allegations. The Biden administration is taking new steps to safeguard clean drinking water. It's specifically taking aim at a class of chemicals called PFAs, known as forever chemicals, since they accumulate and take a long time to break down. The chemicals are linked to a number of health problems. The administration is releasing $1 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure law to help communities facing contamination. States and tribes can now apply for funding that will provide technical assistance, water quality testing, and new water treatments. More infant formula is coming to the United States. The Biden administration has sourced a flight for Thursday that will transport more than 44,000 pounds of Nestle products from Europe. According to a statement from the White House, the supply will be made available through a pipeline that serves hospitals, health companies, and WIC programs nationwide. Coming up on First at 4, millions of Americans will hit the shores this summer. We'll explain how you can have fun in the sun and keep marine life safe.
Plus, hot weather continues as we head into the day tomorrow. I've got the breakdown on how high the mercury rises and when that relief moves in coming up.